The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven, a first-hand description of the afterlife by Suzanne Ward, published by Matthew Books. Part 2, Nirvana. Education. Suzanne, you often mention soul growth and studying. I used to think that when our souls go to heaven, automatically they are completely evolved and all knowledge is revealed. So, how far advanced in spiritual growth and learning are Nirvana's residents? Matthew, Mother, residency here never has meant automatic soul advancement or automatic entry into universal knowledge. Remember that I told you it was created as a haven for the wounded souls in antiquity who needed to heal in a protected place. So you see, Nirvana wasn't designed to be the ultimate in knowledge or soul awareness, and it still isn't. The haven for wounded warriors is no longer the purpose, of course. So now this placement is only one more stage for learning, one more step along the path in soul evolution. Furthermore, just because I am here and you are there doesn't make the difference in our soul progression. Spiritual lifetime is the same as physical lifetime insofar as lessons to be learned, and many people on earth are further along in their soul evolution than many of us in this world. No moment of existence anywhere is devoid of learning opportunities. This doesn't mean that a burdensome academic atmosphere exists in all the moments of all lifetimes, or that every soul must be interested in learning. It does mean that learning is movement toward the goal of all souls, reintegration with the oneness. So it's natural that we put great emphasis upon taking advantage of all learning opportunities. Even though this realm is not as dramatic a school as Earth is, we have considerable advantages you don't have. Since we aren't constrained by your limitations of physical density, full usage of the brain and an accelerated rate of learning are possible. We aren't limited by your third density senses either. Our access to learning resources is unparalleled. And there's a harmonious flow of energy that is both stimulating and uplifting within an educational environment. Suzanne, other than your advantages, is education there anything like ours? Matthew, a great deal like yours. We have regular classes with books, professors who offer instruction in myriad subjects, guest lecturers, training tools, and progress evaluation. Master orators and educators from higher density placements come to advance us in areas beyond our abilities and knowledge common to this realm. Our immense libraries are complete reference centers with all the worthy reading and research material you have, plus many other sources of information you've never heard of, such as records of Earth eras that are unknown to you. Nothing prevents anyone from enrolling in any class he chooses. There's no such thing as a class being closed because it's too full, and there's no requirement to take classes in ascending order, like your 101, 102, and so forth. Obviously, there's no tuition or any other limiting factor except one's own interest and enthusiasm. There's a learning curve proportional to the number in the class, the acceleration rate of assimilating the information, and the attitude of the students. Many students do have difficulty making the grade, but there are no Fs, and we all pitch in to help them with their studies. This form of tutoring, coming from personal interest and willingness, not only is helpful to the foundering students, but also it's gratifying to those who assist them. Having no time is an advantage too. No bells, end class or study periods, and a student may stay as long as he wishes. Some of our academic buildings are large and imposing, and others are like the mobile trailers you have to supplement regular classroom space. Except for the luminosity of all our buildings, our educational settings are very similar to your largest high school and university campuses. Suzanne, all of that sounds like an ideal learning atmosphere. Matthew, it is, but it does present a challenge to the lazy soul. It is not mandatory to study or grow. It is purely individual choice. There are no failing grades, no reprimands, no expulsion for absence to pressure people with borderline attitudes to wake up. Consequently, a life here can be wasted due to the lack of external motivation, and those who wait to be prodded into shaping up are out of luck. And I'm not talking about learning only through formal education, Mother. I'm talking about all types of learning here, just as it exists there, where people also learn from their experiences and the experiences of others, the lessons of life. Laziness in learning is no more rewarded here than there, and when lazy souls leave here, their next lifetime is a backward move. Although we can select the lessons we want, guidance is available in the Akashic Records, which reveal our experiencing and life lessons started but still incomplete. Heeding that guidance leads to the most sensible and beneficial preparation for the lifetime ahead, but still, we have total freedom to choose what we want to learn. Suzanne, what academic courses are available? Matthew, all the sciences, arts, languages, engineering, really every one you can imagine, from astronomy to mythology to zoology. Why mythology? Because it's fascinating to compare the revelations about antiquity with what we were taught on Earth. Unlike what is taught there, the legends of mythology are much more than ancient attempts to explain human existence and natural phenomena. Most are accounts of actual happenings. For instance, there really were those combination animal and human beings, but the truth is not nearly as frivolous as the stories of singing mermaids and piping goatmen and prancing centaurs. Those intelligent, miserable creatures were the manifestations of depraved minds with only self-serving interests in their cruel creation of such beings. Some were designed especially to do jobs that required the capability to think and perform labor that humans couldn't do, such as work underwater for long periods or didn't want to. Suzanne, that's not at all a nice revelation to hear about. Matthew, is there usually such a difference in what you learn and what we're taught? Matthew, it depends upon the field of study. Our medical studies go beyond those on Earth, yet they eliminate most of the medical education there. We don't need any training in broken bones or diseases because none of those are here, and we don't need pharmaceutical knowledge because we don't use prescription drugs. Treatment is by directed energy vibrations, and all maladies of the newcomers are healed by this means. The physical body's memories are acute, and the immediate hold those memories have over the etheric body is profound. we learn how to realign the energy so the discarded physical body leaves no lingering hold on the etheric body that will encumber or lessen its potential for fullness of living. The same is true of a damaged psyche, which often goes hand in hand with the body's need for healing. So our psychology studies have the same focus, but here we go directly to the diseased area and dislodge the blocked energy that is causing the mental or emotional problems. There is no wasted time in long or unproductive discussions of the symptoms or the effects of problems prior to treatment of their cause. Our medicine immediately recognizes and dispels the sources of anguish and transforms those conditions into productive energy for the total good of the person. Our instruction in the natural sciences also differs greatly from yours. We have no theories or erroneous conclusions that lead only to misinformation or failure on the way to accurate understanding. We study the universal laws of natural sciences, God's laws. We apply them in structural ways here and assist in the ideas and conceptual learning phases of scientists on Earth. As genetically gifted people, your scientists are both capable of absorbing information and receptive to that process. Specially selected scientists are privileged by a panel of our masters to absorb the information that is eternally available in the universal mind. It's an extraction and distillation process. Thus, the discoveries of Earth researchers and inventors are the scientific realities that already exist in the universe. They don't originate with your scientists. Our assistance is by way of what you could call the inspirations your scientists get. But what is really happening is that they're being responsive to the information being fed to them. This same feeding principle applies to the arts. You are about equal with us in this area because artistic expression comes from the universal melting pot of talent. This is a soul-level connection that allows the universal gifts to flow freely without the distortion inherent in the limitations of your third-density bodies. Science is mental. Art is from the heart and soul. In painting and sculpture, we are more discriminating in what we consider art and what you produce and prize. Some of your products are merely from audacious imaginations, and although the ideas remain as their own rigid forms, those types of products are not recognized as art and are not respected here. Your most beautiful soul expressions in painting and sculpture were generated in the heavens. We have our own artists, of course. When the same geniuses known on earth are here between embodiments, they instruct as well as produce new art forms. Their teaching and creative methods may not always be with brush and pigments, or sculpting tools and marble, but some do enjoy that form and choose it over the mental and emotional manifestation process. When those artistically endowed souls reincarnate, their new lifetimes are graced with soul-level connection to the universal beauty. The sculptor last time may be a poet now, and the writer last time a pianist. The teacher may emerge in the soul whose last lifetime was as a performing artist, or vice versa. But always, the soul connection with the universal art is the key. It is the combination of that special connection and genetic inheritance that produces artistic genius. The soul chooses the parents for the genetic strain as well as the capability to provide instruction. They enter into a pre-birth agreement that includes a provision for an environment and the resources that will permit the artist to flourish and have access to all necessary training. Suzanne, you keep amazing me. Do the lazy souls there waste their talents by not bringing them into their next physical lifetime? Matthew, a talent may be wasted in a discarnate or incarnate lifetime, but this doesn't often happen. The urge to create is too strongly entrenched at soul level to be suppressed. That's why many masters in the arts overcome extreme obstacles to allow their creative drive to flow naturally. Consider Beethoven. However, when an unforeseen situation prevents the pre-birth provisions from being realized, that talent is not lost. Its energy joins thought forms of like nature and will be attracted by other desirous souls for developing.